Peace and bliss, family, peace and bliss, and welcome to a brand new episode of Soul's Truth with me, your host, Charmaine, priestess, empowerment coach, and channel for the divine. Thank you for taking time out of your day today to join me and listen in. So what we're going to be talking about today, what I'm going to be speaking about today is stepping out of the victim mentality. Okay, now the victim mentality, especially in the spiritual community, is something that can come up for so many of us at different times along our journey. And it's also something that we can attach to very easily without even realizing it. Okay, now let me just be clear. When I say victim, I'm not saying that, if you've experienced pain or a traumatic event in some way, that you shouldn't allow yourself to feel that pain or the emotion such as shame or anxiety, rage, sadness, or frustration that comes along with that experience. But what I'm saying is it's about taking accountability and taking your power back, stepping out of the victim mentality. Now, a prime example that I'm sure we have all heard of many, many, many times along our spiritual journeys is the classic empath versus the narcissist dynamic. All right. Now, as somebody who has been in that dynamic in the past in a relationship, I speak about this with nothing but confidence and conviction because I have lived through it, and how I managed to step out of my victim mentality and reclaim my power back after that relationship was taking full accountability for the part that I played in that dynamic. As empaths, okay, yes, I am an empath, but there is still a very strong label when it comes to the word empath. There is still a strong attachment of victimhood that is attached to that word empath. And I still see it so much now, all right? And I'm somebody as an empowerment coach who wants you to say, okay, yes, I am an empath, but I am an informed and empowered empath. So let's just go back to the narcissistic versus the empath dynamic for a moment. So I was in a relationship with someone who was very narcissistic. That man, he took from me, he took my energy. He fed off of my energy for a long, long time because I allowed him to. Let's get real. I allowed him to do that. And the reason why this man came into my life wasn't because I was a bad person. I wasn't a bad person. I mean, I wasn't perfect. Nobody is. But I wasn't bad. I wasn't doing anything wrong. However, I was uninformed, I was unempowered, and I was deeply unhealed. So every time that man took from me, I allowed him to take from me. I gave away my power because I wasn't informed enough to hold on to my power. Every time he fed me those sweet, sweet words, when you're having a good day with a narcissist, right? And they start selling you the dreams, telling you how amazing you are, start filling your void up, because that's what's happening. When they start selling you the dreams and telling you how amazing life's going to be, and you sit there buying into all of their bullshit, and you know that it's bullshit, but that void that's within you, that emptiness, that unhealed part of you soaks it up like a dry sponge because it's what you're craving. At your depths, it's what you're needing. That unhealed part of you yearns to hear those words from him or from anybody. It's about validation. So how I flipped the switch after that relationship And after running around and saying, I was in this relationship with this narcissist, he tried to break me down, he sold me dreams, he hurt me. How I flipped the switch on that was I took accountability. Now, let me not get it twisted here. Some of the actions that man showed me in the darker times, they were awful. They were awful. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they were justified. That is not what I am saying. What I'm saying is, in order for you, listener, and how I took back my power after being in that dynamic was by taking full accountability for why that man was drawn into my life in the first place. In the spiritual community, the victim energy, it's really easy to attach to. And I, for one, am someone who wants to be a part of a change when it comes to that. I don't want anybody to sit there and feel like it's their fault. Oh my God, it's my fault that this person's in my life, this co-worker, this relationship, this family member. This is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that I want you to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, I see this person. I see how they treated me. It hurt. It hurt me to my core, to the core of my being. But you know what? I'm going to change that because I have the power to change that. Yes, I could sit here and still say, oh, that man, the narcissist did this to me and blah, 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 and the rest of it. Or I can choose to say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. And mean that. Thank you for showing me the part of me that was still so wounded, that was still so empty, that was still so in need of love from myself. I still hear so much now in the community, I'm an empath, and all I attract is narcissists. That's all I attract in my life. Okay, so newsflash. If that's a narrative that you find yourself using, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but you've still got some work to do. You still have some internal work to do. I am not saying that you are a bad person, but I'm telling you right here and now that if that is still your narrative as somebody that has found out that they are an empath, there is still an unhealed part of you that needs to be addressed. There is still a void within you that needs to be filled with love and nourishment from yourself. Because as an empath who isn't empowered, there is still a part of you that craves to fix this narcissist. There is still a part of you that feels like this person will change for me. If I just pour more of myself into this person, then this person will change for me. And it never happens, right? It never happens. Or you get strong enough and you leave one dynamic, but you haven't completely learnt the lesson from that dynamic, so you attract another person. Same shit, different day. So the victim mentality is something that I think that we all need to address in our lives in one form or another. Empowerment is what we are heading into. Empowerment is part of the 5D reality. And empowerment is part of your sovereignty and no less than you deserve. Family, I want to thank you for listening today. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to connecting with you all on our next episode on Soul's Truth. I love you all. Peace out.